While reading history, I pause to take a sigh about the land, Afghanistan, where empires go to die. Alexander the Great, he tried and failed. The Mongols, they did too. The British and the Russians, they got their ass kicked too. America's been there many years, and I ask myself why we don't learn from history where empires go to die. They say it's terrorism, that's political malarkey. Just follow where the money goes to a corporate oligarchy. The food crops they once grew with a plow and a hoe been turned into opium poppies, growing row on row. Our infrastructure's crumbling, our social structure too. It's a corporate scam, they don't give a damn while screwing over me and you.
Do you have a paranormal story you want to share on Night Dreams Talk Radio? You could be a guest. Email us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com.
Night Dreams Talk Radio Network brings you the World Paranormal News with James Creechbaum. Now, the latest news.
Earth's magnetic North Pole has officially moved. Yes, that's right. Earth's magnetic North Pole has drifted so fast that authorities have had to officially redefine the location of the magnetic North Pole. The extreme wandering of the North Pole caused increasing concerns over navigation, especially in high latitudes. Earth's magnetic field is known to wander and flip in geologic past. Earth's magnetic field is a result of spinning molten iron and nickel 1,800 miles below the surface. As the constant flow of molten metals in the outer core changes over time, it alters the external magnetic field. Now, what we've seen in the past 100 years is the location of the magnetic North Pole has moved northward. That migration of the magnetic North Pole was switched into overdrive in the past few years, causing the pole to rapidly move. The increasing speed in which the magnetic North Pole has moved prompted authorities to officially update its location. The official location of the magnetic poles is specified by the World Magnetic Model, which acts as a basis for navigation, communication, GPS, etc. around the globe. Now, the new location of Earth's magnetic pole on last week, according to the World Magnetic Model, updated their official location of the magnetic north. Now, the model is typically updated every 5 years and was last updated in 2015. However, the recent rapid movement of the magnetic north prompted scientists to update the model early. In the recent past, the magnetic North Pole has moved 34 miles a year toward Russia. Just a half century ago, the magnetic North Pole was wandering about 7 miles each year. Now, Earth's magnetic pole is quickly moving from the Canadian Arctic toward Russia. The model update ensures the accuracy of work in governmental agencies around the world, specifically NASA, FAA, and the U.S. Forest Service. They use the magnetic poles in their daily operations, from mapping to the air traffic control on a more individual level. Smartphones use the magnetic north for GPS location and compass apps. Is the Earth's magnetic field about to flip? Something to ponder. Let me just say that. Now, on to the next one. Ticks. Are ticks being weaponized? Have they been weaponized? As the Pentagon tried to weaponize ticks as a biological weapon. Well, Congress requested the Pentagon to disclose whether or not it is accountable for Lyme disease spreading reports, Gizmo. According to sources, the U.S. House of Representatives voted on July 11th to support the amendment to the 2020 Defense Authorization Bill requiring the Department of Justice to research the use of armed ticks in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. The amendment, which Representative Christopher Smith wrote, specifically calls for the Inspector General shall conduct a review of whether the Department of Defense experimented with ticks and other insects regarding use as a biological weapon between the years 1950 and 1975. Congress asked to be informed of any such studies and whether any ticks or insects used in such experiments were released outside of any laboratory by accident or experiment design. The move follows years of speculation as to whether or not Department of Defense scientists at multiple centers had experimented with the use of diseased ticks as a biological weapon. Some assume the continuing spread of Lyme disease is responsible for such ticks. We need answers, and we need them now, Smith said. Well, that's awful interesting. Now, on to the next little tidbit here. Zombies. Yes, zombies. Parasites living in humans can cause zombie apocalypse. While everyone is waiting for some apocalyptic events from the outside, the real danger is already among us. According to biologist Athena Actiptipis of Arizona State University, half of all creatures on the planet are parasites. Well, that's scary. Now, they are capable of provoking a real zombie apocalypse. For this, only the right mutation or evolutionary leap is needed. The biologist gave an interview to Asia Times in which she noted a parasite such as Toxoplasma. It infects approximately 40 million Americans a year, making them schizophrenic. To better understand the degree of danger, Athena gave an example. When a parasite penetrates a rat and makes it fall in love with the smell of cat urine, as a result, the rat itself runs to its enemy and becomes its prey. The parasite then penetrates the cat's body and later into the human body. The behavior of all animals and people during infection changes dramatically. Toxoplasmosis affects the nervous system. Mrs. Actipis said the parasite somehow evolved to make a rat get turned on by the smell of cat urine, so it goes up to the cat and snuggles with it. And then it gets eaten, which completes the life cycle of the Toxoplasma. If that's not zombification, then what is? Humans can get infected by the deadly parasite just by eating undercooked meat, or even cleaning out a cat's litter box could lead to infection.
Good evening, or morning, depending on your time zone. From the Pacific to the Atlantic to you worldwide. Get yourself a cup of Java and find a comfy, easy chair. And get ready for Gary and his guest on Night Dreams Talk Radio. After Dark. And now, here's Gary.
And I just broke another lamp. You know that with that swing with this golf club that you sent me, James? I tell you what, I feel like Johnny Carson every time I hear that intro to the show.
I know. I can just picture you swinging that 9-iron.
Oh, yeah.
every time.
Now,
so, hey, could you go ahead?
No, I just want to say we have Tim Swartz on the line.
Oh, well, let's get him going. I'm excited to hear what he's got to say.
Well, hi, Tim. How you doing, my friend? It's been a couple weeks.
I'm sorry. Tim Swartz is currently not available at these time-space coordinates. Please try again at a different time.
So how you been, my friend?
I'm doing great, and you're right. It's been a little while, week or so since we last talked, but I guess since we're going to be talking about the mysteries of time and the possibilities of time travel, it probably that's of little importance. Well,
don't you have a book on time travel, if I remember right?
Oh, I've written several. I wrote one back in the middle 1990s. It actually was being written by one of Tim Beckley's authors by the name of Commander X. Unfortunately, Commander X got ill and could not fulfill his contract for that book and several others. So I was brought in to basically go through the notes and the stuff that he had got together, and put the original book together, which was called Time Travel a how-to guide. I hate that title, though, but it had already been determined that was going to be the title. But then, I don't know, maybe 10 years later, I decided that the book needed an update, and so we got together and we put a new version together, which was called Time Travel, Fact Not Fiction. And I tell you something, it's probably getting to be time to do an update on that, because I tell you, science and physics just continues to march ahead, and things that we were merely speculating about back then have seems to be closer and closer to a realization.
Oh, you are so right. You know, just in the news here yesterday, maybe the day before, that one of the black holes puked out a star. You know, up to maybe 6-7 months ago, that was when they first discovered something coming out of a black hole. But up to then, they said nothing could come out of a black hole. It would be torn apart by all the gravity influxes and all this stuff. But maybe that's how, if there is aliens, they're time traveling to our planet to get here in a short period of time.
I tell you, Gary, I don't think that I would want to be part of that experiment, just to see whether or not it would be possible to, travel through or even around a black hole to see if it would be possible to go someplace else. You know, it's let's maybe send like the scientists back in the 1950s. We'll send a few monkeys through first. Now I'm going to get a lot of people complaining that I'm advocating torturing poor animals instead of people. But it's interesting. Because I think that some of the early ideas of what a black hole is, we're showing more and more that those early theories may not be exactly right. And I think a lot of physicists right now are saying, we're still not totally sure what a black hole is, because originally the concept was that a black hole was a supermassive star that collapsed in upon itself, and its gravitational field became so intense that nothing, not even light, can escape from it. But now we're finding that probably most galaxies have a huge black hole at their very center. So, I mean, does that mean that at one time this was a massive star that collapsed upon itself, or something else? And not, just even more recently, there is the idea that the universe could be filled with miniature black holes. So, it's a fascinating subject.
It is. In fact, in the news the other day, they said that they discovered 3 miniature black holes. So, I mean, you hit that kind of there, too. And, again, we might have a black hole, that's basically cloaked that we can't see. And our planet, people think that our planet just stays here, and it just turns and goes around the way it goes. That's not true. I mean, when the dinosaurs were walking, our planet was on the other side of the solar system. So, or the other side of the galaxy, I should say.
Right.
So, I mean, just think about that. I mean, tomorrow morning we might not wake up because we could be sucked into a black hole.
Well, I don't know if you remember this, but it's probably been maybe about 20 years ago, where a physicist suggested that whatever the object was that exploded over Tunguska, Siberia, back in the early 1900s, could possibly have been a miniature black hole. I mean, and we're talking about microscopic in size, but still with enough gravity and force that